Hi everyone, welcome to WION Live broadcast from New York City. I'm your host, Susan Tehrani. First, let's take a look at some of the stories making headlines around the world. India and U.S. delegation wrap up trade talks in India's capital of New Delhi after U.S. President imposed 50% tariffs on Indian goods over New Delhi's purchases of Russian oil. Pakistani Deputy Prime Minister admits that India rejected any third-party intervention to end hostilities in the aftermath of Operation Sindoor. Yar says ceasefire offer came to him via U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio. As the IDF steps up its offensive in Gaza, Israel's Defense Minister Katz puts out a fierce warning to Hamas. Release the hostages or Gaza will be destroyed. The EU hits out at the intensified crackdown, says that it would enforce more sanctions against Israel on Wednesday. War of words between Turkey President Erdogan and Israel Prime Minister Netanyahu. Erdogan likens Netanyahu to Hitler. Netanyahu says Jerusalem is Israel's city. It will not be divided again. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio met Qatar's leader to ask the Gulf countries to stay on as a mediator in Gaza talks, a week after Israeli warplanes attacked Hamas leaders in the Emirates. FBI Director Kash Patel faces a Senate panel in criticism of his handling of the investigation into the murder of conservative activist Charlie Kirk and the case of sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. The UK is rolling out the red carpet for President Trump, who has departed for a second state visit, with the British government seeking to woo the American president as protesters gear up to make their voices heard as well. A United Nations report says South Sudan government officials have stolen billions of dollars in oil money since the country gained independence in 2011. U.S. auto giant Ford says it would cut up to 1,000 jobs at its plant in the German city of Cologne in the face of weak European demand for electric vehicles. And the U.S. dollar dropped to its lowest level in months as investors increased expectations for a Federal Reserve rate cut. The dollar index fell to its lowest since early July amid renewed calls from President Trump for aggressive monetary easing. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.